Hey folks, so we're going to be planting up daylilies today, and I want to tell you a little bit about them because planting them up is pretty simple. I've got this beautiful zinc oxide planter, which Sonder actually doesn't really like, but I dreamt of like putting a daylily that I basically color matched with this beautiful golden orange color that we painted the barn. I have planting on my brain. Painted the barn. And I wasn't really into daylilies, but I have to admit, there is a family-owned and operated daylily company called Oakes Daylilies, and it happens to be my last name, O-A-K-E-S, same exact spelling. And I got the catalog and I was looking through and I was like, oh my God, this is a perfect color. So this is a Jersey spider lily, and they grow them and they dig them up out of the ground. And just want to show you kind of the morphology of this. You got these thick finger-like tuberous roots, and then you have the crown, and then you have, this is called the fan. And in all fairness, this probably didn't look so brown and yellow. These have been sitting in a box for probably a day. I had Sonder actually just quickly pot them up with some seed starting mix, just so I could actually get to them, not necessarily in time. So these probably looked a little bit better 4 days ago, but these are going to start greening up really nicely after I plant them and water them in. So anyway, you have the tuberous roots, you have the crown, which is basically what comes out of the roots, and then this is called the fan. So this is fan-like, it's cut back, but eventually these leaves will be long and strappy and grass-like. And this particular cultivar is Hemorrcalis, which is the genus. Hemorrcalis. Calis means beauty, and hemorrho means day in Greek. And that's how it gets its name, daylily. So you can imagine what that actually means. You might say, well, maybe they only bloom for a day, maybe they bloom for a day and then they're done. It's true, they actually only bloom for a day and then they're done, and you're like, well, what kind of flower is that? The reason is that they put out this long scape and they have many different flowers. So one flower will bloom in one day and another one will bloom another day. So you get a really good consistent bloom, usually from June through July. It really depends on the daylily cultivar because some are kind of early season June, mid-season June, July, and then mid to late season, which is like towards the end of July. And they love full sun, and they like to be watered in. So typically that you could find them as bedding plants, and this tends to be a 4-foot variety, and this is a cultivar named Jersey spider. And you may ask yourself, daylilies, is this an invasive plant? We actually found some daylilies growing in our meadow, and this was an old nursery, and they're kind of clumping everywhere. If you get the Hemorrcalis Fulva, the species variety, then those actually can be invasive. They're also called ditch lily. And you know, no mistake, actually, if I drive down this road a little bit further in the summer months, I actually see the ditch lily growing there, the Hemorrcalis Fulva. And they tend to grow really robustly and vigorously through underground rhizomes. They'll also seed with seed dispersal. And these, the cultivated varieties or the hybrids, tend not to be very vigorous. And you would look at the different cultivars to see, well, is this a vigorous variety or not? And some of them tend to be just a bit more clump forming, so you usually don't have to worry about it. They also don't self-pollinate. They need others to pollinate, and they will pollinate readily, which is why you have so many hybrids and cultivated varieties. And you'll see there's such a range of them. A lot of them are kind of that yellow-orange, and that's kind of where I stayed with the colors, but then you see cultivated varieties that have pinks and purples and burgundies and reds, so there's a lot to choose from. But this one grows about 4 feet tall, and it will get this grassy foliage, and I just think it would be so beautiful in front of this barn. And I have other varieties, which I'll show you. Now you can see they have a few different clumps here, so I could space them out if I wanted to, or break them up, and that's actually how you could divide them that way, is just separating them. But I'm just going to plant them relatively shallowly, so I'm just going to spread out their tuberous roots. And I already kind of filled this up with Espoma potting medium, so just something that's really well draining. And then I'm gonna water this in, but I'm gonna put them all kind of together, just like this. And I'll probably plant some other plants up in this, but they're pretty shallow rooted, but they're robust. So you want space, you know, somewhere between 16 and 24 inches long in a planter. Otherwise, most of the time, these are popular bedding plants. So I'm just gonna get that. Now I brought some more potting medium because I think I'm just gonna pack this in, make sure that there's no air pockets. And this may settle over the course of a few days, and I'll probably come out here and just top it off. You know, if you want to add a little mulch to the top, because they like good sun, and this will dry out and kind of bake a bit. So it might benefit from adding a little bit of compost or a little bit of mulch to the top. And now's the time in spring to actually fertilize as well. And it's recommended to fertilize them. So I'm going to use this flower tone from Espoma, but you could use any balanced fertilizer. And don't get it on the leaves because that could actually burn them. And you'll see when they start to expire, the leaves will start to turn a little bit like this color, like a little yellow, and it might not be appealing to folks. So I would say that planting them in a bedding where as they expire, other plants or other perennials start to come up, or you could snip some of the brown leaves back. That's totally normal. So I'm going to do this. There's some roots sticking up right here, so I want to make sure those are all in. And now I'm going to water this in, and what we found out, lo and behold, we have this lawn hydrant. There you go. It looks a little rusty.
Yeah, you should have seen the first one that I opened up.
Oh my goodness.
This is like brown.
This is great though, because I wasn't thinking about putting this planter here, and then now that we have this water source right here, it's just so good. So I guess this goes all the way down 4 feet, right? So
something like that.
Yeah. All these little gems that we didn't know about before we got this land. So I'm just gonna water this in. It's probably better if I had like a little rose, so I'm not like fully watering and soaking them too much, but they really like to be watered. So if you're planting in a planter, make sure that it is well watered, especially during the summer months, and you could fertilize again in the summer. That's totally normal. And like I said, I'll probably plant some other plants around here, but just wanted to get these planted since they came in. And I'll show you which other ones we have as well, because I'm going to be planting one in another container and another in the bed. I should mention this, but these are Asiatic plants, and they're not true lilies. So I believe that they were in the Liliaceae family, but lilies usually grow by bulbs, and you could see that these are more with tuberous roots. And there's other differences as well, but the flowers look very similar to a lily, which is how it got its name. And it's in a totally different family now. It's Asphodelaceae, so it's not in the lily family, which is pretty good because we tried to grow lilies here, and it's always a challenge because we have an invasive beetle called the lily leaf beetle. It's a red beetle. The larvae are kind of gross. They cover themselves with their own excrement, and they eat lilies, everything in the lily family. So if you want something that looks like a lily, these are a really good alternative. So here, this one is Nutmeg Elf. So I have 2 of these. Now this is a mid-season variety that is quite cute. It's small, so it's a little over 2 feet tall. Oh, there's lots of nice divisions here. So these are nice big divisions. It's 2 feet tall.
Like a fan.
Yeah, it is. That's why these are called fans. So these are 2 feet tall, and they get small 3-inch flowers. I should have said the Jersey spider lily, the daylily, gets 8-inch flowers. So that's quite huge. These are small. You could see by the tuberous roots that they're much smaller. Now, I had layered bulbs in here in this planter pot. Now, nothing obviously has come up, You could see that there's been some shenanigans here. I'm just gonna lightly dig in here because if I don't see any of these bulbs, oh yeah, here's one. They look like they've been eaten or it's gotten too mushy. So this one was a fail. I layered bulbs in many planters and this one seems to be a fail. So I was like, well, if the bulbs haven't come up, I'm gonna plant some daylilies here. And I wanna do the Nutmeg Elf one. So this is a nice kind of yellowish orange, kind of a very similar color. And again, if you're planting these in a bed, if you want them spaced generously, 18 to 24 inches is good. But if you want them looking really robust, then plant them close together. You could always divide them later. So I'm just gonna use the potting medium that I already had here. I'll space them apart a little bit. And it's late April right now, so I suspect that this will start blooming in a month, and I'm just gonna fertilize this in as well. And you can wait for the next rain, or if you wanna water this in, I have my hose on over there, so I'll probably just hose this in later. All right, the last one we have was a free one that we got from Oaks Daylilies. So when you order there, they usually give you a free one to choose from. And this one is, you can see, relatively robust, but it only gets about 28 inches high, kind of same as this. And these get 7-inch flowers, so they get a much larger flower, but not as big as a Jersey. And this is a really light buttery yellow. And this is more like the traditional daylily flower, where the petals are 5 times longer than they are wide, so they look a little bit more spidery. So this one I figured would be in the bed over here. This is where the Camassia are. You can see the Camassia are coming up with a bunch of tulips. They also have this more vertical grassy-like leaves. I think this would look really nice, kind of a little bit towards the front of the bed. These will probably bloom a little early, but a yellow and that kind of purple blue I think looks really nice. So I'm just gonna dig in here. And daylilies love sun, I already said that already. And this gets some nice eastern light and eventually a little bit of western light. That's what you're seeing now. And then of course some southern light. So this is gonna get plenty of light right here. All right, just gonna get that. I'm just gonna bury just up to the crown, just like that, pressing in, minding the tulips. I am probably gonna fertilize this entire bed pretty soon because the tulips are just starting to come up and I wanna give them an extra boost, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Actually, if I could show you, I know we're talking daylilies, but look at some of the tulips coming up. So we're getting some pretty colors coming in. It looks like the fritillarias are up as well. All these kind of purplish red colors. So those seem to be the earliest ones. And we have some more tulips over here I'd love to show you. These are just starting to close up for the day. But look how lovely. These are some species tulips as well. So a lot of times you get the cultivated varieties, but this is the actual species. Well, I think that's pretty much it for today, but it gives you a little bit of understanding about daylilies and great bedding plants, beautiful grassy leaves. And again, once it starts to expire, then you can actually cut some of those brown leaves back. But they're pretty simple, non-fussy plants. Nothing really bothers them. You just gotta give them enough sun and enough water. See you in the next video.